Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by our runner-up finisher, Chase Elliott, driver of the number 71 NAPA Auto Parts Valvoline Chevrolet. Chase, starting from the pole today, really great race out there. If you could just kind of talk us through your afternoon and how you're feeling.
Yeah, it was a really strong truck. I was glad we were able to run today. I hope it helps for tomorrow. It was obviously a little different, I think, driving these things than what it'll be in the in the Cup race tomorrow. But regardless, it was good to get some laps and try to get better at this place. This has been an absolute struggle for me. So I'm just trying to figure out whatever it takes to go fast, and especially when it comes tomorrow, that's the most important thing. So we obviously wish we had done something a little different there at the end to try to get by Johnny, but had to have a little respect, I feel like, for him racing for a championship and whatnot. You want to make a mistake and end his day and end his championship too. So got to be mindful of that stuff.
Okay, we'll now open it up for questions for Chase. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We will get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll take a question in the back from Stan.
Chase, Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. What was the biggest thing you learned about this track today that you think will help you tomorrow?
Well, I think it's kind of a number of things, Stan. I don't know that it's one thing in particular. The biggest thing that comes to my mind is just getting in a rhythm, and it's tough to do at this place, and it's just very much so not like any short track I've grown up racing at or had an opportunity to go to very much. So the past few races here, have been kind of the first time I've been to one of these, high brake, really slow, center of the corner speed short tracks. So it's just very different from what I feel like I've been accustomed to in years past with late model racing and whatnot. So for me, just trying to find a rhythm at this place is important. And obviously, I think the Cup car wants a little bit different driving style, a little bit different technique tomorrow. But, at the same time, I just think that those laps and that rhythm, even if it isn't something different, we're still driving around the same racetrack and it's still paved. So at the end of the day, I think it's got to be similar.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Chris and then go up to the press box.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Chase, it's been 3 years since you've been in a truck. Had a pretty good truck today. Would you like to do it more often and maybe even Phoenix?
No, not really. I think if I feel like we can go somewhere and learn something from racing a truck race or something, then sure. I think this is a really good place to do that. I feel like you're not, the aero side is not as different when it comes to like a mile and a half or something like that. So I think a short track is good to do this kind of stuff at. But no, not unless it really is going to help either myself or our team learn something new, then not really. I'd rather just focus on our other stuff.
Okay, go ahead in the press box with your question. Okay, we'll give them a minute. We'll take our next question down here from Barry.
We got it. Sorry. Press box.
Okay, go ahead.
I shouldn't say my name now. Greg Engel, Cupscene.com. Chase, genuinely, you seem to have a great truck. What was weighing on your mind there at the end more heavily? Was it the last time you were in a truck in Canada and that somewhat controversial finish? Was it the fact that these guys are racing for a chase? Or because it seemed like you could have probably come up there and forced the issue. Or was it in those final laps, did you really not have enough to catch him there at the end? What was the scenario there?
Yeah, I felt like our trucks were pretty evenly matched, to be honest with you. And I felt like our truck was a little better than his real late in the going, and I felt like he started to fall off some of those last handful of laps. But no, I wasn't really concerned with the last truck races I've run. But, you live and you learn as you go through life and learn through racing. So I think you just got to be mindful of what he's racing for. Sure, you can go move him out of the way and try to win the race that way, I guess, or whatever it takes. You can also make a mistake and wreck the guy pretty easily doing that. So, for me, I had to kind of sit back and recognize the reason I'm here today is to try to learn for tomorrow. I'd love to have one of those clocks to put in my house, but at the same time, I would much rather have it on a Sunday So if this, helps us for tomorrow, then I think that's the most important thing. And it's much harder to go and pass a guy up off the corner and not, run into him getting in. So definitely live and you learn as you go through life. But I think that was the biggest thing.
Go ahead, Barry.
Barry Richmond, Piedmont Broadcasting Corporation, WAKG. Chase, I'm sure you've talked about this season, but having the opportunity unexpectedly to run with the man that you replaced, the seat, in the 24 with Jeff Gordon, how has that helped you this season, and then just how's that experience been for you?
Yeah, that experience has been cool. Obviously, it was, when we got to Indy this year, I think it was a little weird for everybody, seeing me driving the 24 and him driving the 88. But to be honest with you, after we got through Indy and ran a couple races, it was kind of normal. I feel at home now, and I think Jeff is being a good teammate and helping Dale's situation, and obviously he's one of, if not the greatest ever to race at this place. So no better to him fill the seat this weekend. But it's been a neat experience. Great having him at the racetrack and around, regardless whether he's driving or not. He has a positive influence on our race team, whether he comes to you and helps you with racetrack advice, or if it's just bringing a positive vibe to the folks that are working on your race car or your entire team. I think both of those things can be beneficial in how we run and our performance as a company.
Any interaction with Dale?
I've seen Dale. He's been at all our meetings, and it seems normal, seems fine. I can't say that anything looks wrong with him. I think he's just doing what the doctors tell him and trying to make sure he takes the right steps in being 100% ready come Daytona next year.
Any final questions for Chase? Okay, Chase, thank you for your time. Good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Okay, we're also joined by our fourth place finisher, Christopher Bell, driver of the number 4 JBL Toyota. So Christopher, congratulations on a great race out there. Just talk a little bit about your afternoon and how you're feeling heading into this next race in the Chase.
Well, this was a really important race for us today because I really struggled here in April whenever we came for the truck race, and for us to be able to come out of here with a top 5 was a win for us. So now we're sitting good in the points, and we're going to 2 places where I feel really confident that we can compete for wins and get ourselves the homestead.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Christopher. If you have a question, please raise your hand and we will get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll start here with Chris Knight.
KnightKidTrends.com. Christopher, you ended the first round as the highest finishing Chase driver overall, and now you've started the second round with a good finish. How do you carry that over into Texas and Phoenix and hopefully get into the Final Four at Homestead?
Well, we just got to continue to do what we've been doing over the past 5-6 races now. And so our attitude going into these races have been to not eliminate ourselves. And whenever we don't eliminate ourselves, Kyle Busch Motorsports brings fast enough tundras where normally we're right in the hunt. And so that was something that I struggled with early on in the year, was getting myself in trouble and eliminating myself before the end of the race, where I couldn't even race for the win. So now we're able to finish these races, and we're showing that we do have the speed to run up front and compete with these guys.
How much have you had to change your driving style in order to put yourself in the championship mode?
It's a lot of it, honestly, is just my team around me. Between Jerry, my crew chief, and Herm, my spotter, they're able to kind of talk me through the race and just let me know, hey, man, there's still 50 laps to go, and where today 50 laps to go is over halfway, but that's still a long race. So just reminding myself to stay calm is the biggest thing, because these races are lengthy.
Okay, we'll take a question from Stan.
Christopher, Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. Rate what you're learning at this track versus what you might learn at other tracks.
Well, coming here to Martinsville, it's just a totally different style of racing than I've been accustomed to my entire life. So coming from the dirt background, where, especially sprint car dirt background, where everything is attack, and run 110%, and then you come here to Martinsville where it's slower is faster. So that's been the biggest thing for me to learn, and I'm really proud of myself and proud of my team to come out of here with a top 5.
Okay, we'll take a question from Barry.
As you're going through the chase, how has a 2-week break been either an asset or a hindrance moving forward through the championship run?
Well, me personally, I don't like the breaks because I'm a race car driver and I want to race every week. But for my team, I think it was very beneficial for them to be able to get caught up on everything at the shop and get trucks ready for these last 5 races. So now looking forward with no weeks, no breaks in between, I think that'll be very beneficial for me as a driver and my team as well now that they're caught up on their maintenance program at the shop.
Any final questions? Okay, Christopher, congratulations. Good luck next week. Okay, we are now joined by the winner of the 18th Annual Texas Roadhouse 200 presented by Alpha Energy Solutions, Johnny Sauter, driver of the number 21 Smokey Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevrolet for GMS Racing. This is his second victory and 16th top 10 finish in 2016, and now will advance to the championship 4. So, Johnny, congratulations. Just talk us through your race this afternoon.
Well, the race kind of started yesterday, so to speak, with practice and all that, and to be honest with you, I felt like we had a really good Smoky Mountain Herbal Snuff Chevrolet yesterday in practice. Didn't necessarily focus on single lap speed or having a fast truck on a short run. So we focused really hard on long run stuff, just making sure that the typical thing that you face here, turning in the center of the corner and keeping forward traction. So just proud of everybody at GMS Fabrication. This is a all GMS truck, and so. To be able to come to a place like this that's been pretty kind to me over the years, to get a win here was extra special. Obviously, we all know what's on the line here as far as a championship. At the beginning of the year, that's your ultimate goal, is to at least have a chance at Homestead to race for a championship. So all in all, great day. Drove to the lead early, had some brake trouble there, had to kind of conserve for about 100 laps. Knew I had a little bit better handle on truck than what I was shown, but I just had to take care of it a little bit. And when that last caution came out, I think it was 40 laps to go, I was like, pretty sure I got enough brakes to get to the end, so we're going to use them as hard as I needed to. So thank Chase Elliott for racing clean there at the end, and just thought we had a very methodical day. Took care of the truck, ran into the wall a couple times off the corner just because I got loose, but hopefully they ain't too mad at me for tearing up the truck. But all in all, great day. Proud of everybody's effort at GMS Racing.
Okay, we're also joined by our race-winning crew chief, Joe Shear Jr. Joe, congratulations to you. Second win this year. If you could just talk a little bit about today's win from your perspective.
Well, Johnny hit on a lot of things. We worked really on race trim stuff and worked on forward traction. We came here, kind of with a setup that I've run here before, and we tuned on a little bit, and Johnny liked it, and we just kept tuning on it. But, this race wasn't easy to win. It was, first of all, the whole strategy of what we had going into the race was thrown out the window, because I would never thought we would have all that lap or green flag stuff. So it kind of turned out really good. We ran those long runs, and we worked on our truck for long run stuff, and so the strategy and everything came back to what we were thinking, or what I wasn't thinking, really, to be honest with you. I thought we were going to have a lot of cautions, but it worked out good for us because our truck was good on the long run.
Okay, we are also joined by team owner Maury Gallagher and director of competition Mike Beam. Gentlemen, 2 wins, back-to-back wins. If you could each just touch a little bit on what this means for your organization, also knowing that you will compete for a championship in Homestead.
Thank you. It's obviously what you work so hard for. I think Johnny said it while we were up on the stands with pictures. We're peaking at the right time, and this is a lot of work. This started 2 years ago with this young man on my right. Been 43 years in NASCAR, and I couldn't hardly spell car, let alone NASCAR. And to find him and bring him into the organization to really set it up, to understand how to put good people in the right places, to hire the right guys, like the guy on my left and the other guy on my left, that's part of what really has made this, and I couldn't be happier. I was in the stands today cheering as loud as the next guy, but I'm used to being around winning organizations, and that was the tempo and the speed with which I wanted to see things happen, and Mike and the rest of the guys have really put it together. So I couldn't be happier. We're on to Homestead. Hopefully we'll get Ben there next week or the following week, and then we'll take 2 over there, and we'll put the W at Homestead. Mr. Sauter is certainly welcome to it. He can fight Mr. Kennedy for it. I'm indifferent. But at this point, we're in the right spot at the right time. Thank you.
Well, it has been a long 20 months for us. We've come a long way, but with Maury's support, and our sponsors and Chevrolet, they gave us a lot of stuff to work with. We still got a long ways to go. I feel like but we're never satisfied. But I'm just really, we're just very blessed and very, to get this far in this short amount of time. But it's been a lot of work. But Maury's gave us the funding to do it, and bringing Johnny on, we needed a senior driver like him, and he finally didn't screw it up today, and I'm proud of him for that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. And Joe did a great job. And Joe, he came on, and these guys, it is a lot of fun, and hopefully they're peaking right now. But we get to go to Homestead, and that's all I ever asked, for us just to be in the Final Four and be in the game. And I feel like that our mile and a half program is going to be, it fits Homestead fairly well. I know Johnny's ran well, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I guess we'll just try to limit our mistakes and just do what we do best.
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We will get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll start here in the front with Bob.
Johnny, back in 2011, you kind of had a shot at the title and you won at Homestead. You still finished second in points, but can you take anything from that experience you feel into that race?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Having been there and lost the championship by 6 points was a bummer. But Homestead is. I think anytime you can win at a racetrack, it puts a little pep in your step when you walk through the gate. And Homestead has been a pretty decent racetrack for us. The key deal is liking a racetrack. And I can't think of a better racetrack to decide a championship than Homestead. Very racy place. You can run all over the racetrack. So. Having said that, I feel like we are peaking at the right time. I feel like we've kind of saved some of our best bullets, so to speak, for the end. And, we can go and really work hard on our Homestead piece over these next couple weeks. But, I'm a racer, and I think we all kind of are up here. And, we're not just going to hang out these next 2 weeks. Texas has been a racetrack that we've had success at in the past. We sat on the pole there earlier this year and had a shot to win the race when it came down to it. So, we want to win races, and we're in a little bit different spot, I guess you call it a luxurious spot right now because we get to race very hard over the next couple weeks, but a lot of emphasis is going to go on our Homestead race, and, I want to win a championship. I've been doing this a long time and have won races and whatever, but a championship is something that has eluded me, and we came close once or twice, but we're going to have to get it done this time. That's not necessarily the case. How much time you got, I can tell you some racetracks that I'm not particularly fond of. But when I did look at the chase, nobody was happier about the chase format than me. When I looked at the beginning of the year, I was like, this is perfect. It adds excitement to the series. And, when I look at the last 7 races, they're all tremendous racetracks. We had won at 5 of the last 7 racetracks. So that obviously makes you feel good, I guess. And they're just great racetracks, very racy places. And I don't know, I just feel comfortable and confident in where we are as a team right now. And we're just executing on pit road and so on and so forth. The 16 top 10s. And I think, had a shot to win some other races through the course of the year. At Kansas, we should have won, and I made a mistake. So having said that, I feel really good about where we're at.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, Kicking the Tires and Performance Racing Network. Johnny, with this being the first time with this elimination format and you locked in at Homestead, what kind of fireworks can we see for you battling out at the on those final laps out there? You're known for getting out there and mixing it up.
Well, I mean, we're going to race hard. That's the MO, and kind of the. You can't necessarily race like that all year, I guess, because you're trying to accumulate points and be consistent and take care of your stuff so you can, work on it. A lot of times if you're balling stuff up every week, you never get the opportunity to tweak on it, massage on it, and make it better. So I feel like that's kind of the direction that we've been able to go down, or take the path that we've been able to go down is working on our stuff, knowing what makes it better ultimately. And but we're going to race hard. I'm going to race as hard as I possibly can, especially come Homestead, because we've seen past history, obviously through the Cup Series, that you're going to have to go down there and race your butt off and ultimately be in a position to win the race. So, nobody's going to be trying any harder than me. I can promise you that.
Okay, we'll take our next question here in the front from Kenny, and then Zach, and then back up to Dustin.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Maury, you mentioned you sat in the stands. Is that typical for you?
For the most part, no. I'm usually like to be on the pit road, but this place is the view up there is much better from than pit road. It's hard to see over anything given all the obstructions, but my main goal is to stay out of the way and make sure I don't cause anything. I'm not even allowed a radio with a button, so those are things that I'm learning. I've got another couple years before they'll give me the button, I think.
Okay, and for Mike or Joe, either one, you guys obviously you'll go to Texas, and you want to win there, but you don't have to worry about it. But if something happens there and you tear up a truck, does that impact you all at Homestead in any way?
No.
So
no,
so it's
we're
separate.
good. We've been planning on this. Yeah, we've since I don't know, July. Yeah, we was really hoping. I'm not being arrogant. We was hoping we get there, and we didn't want no surprises. So I think we're in really good shape here. So I'm very confident. We're very, like I said, we're very blessed that Chevrolet gives us a lot of wind tunnel time, and Johnny's and Ben's and trucks, they've all been wind tunnel tested, and we're ready to go. It's so like I said, we're peaking right now, but I think we have built 28 trucks this year. 28 trucks. The truck that Grant won last week was 128, and the truck that Spencer took to Homestead last year was 101. So we have been really working hard, Tom Ackerman and all the guys in the fab shop. So we're ready for this. We're ready for the and I couldn't be happier to be in it. That's what I want. Put us in. That's what we want.
Okay, next question from Zach, Dustin, and then Chris.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. For Johnny, first year loading on board with this team, what were your first impressions when you first started? Did you think that competing for the championship was possible with this team, and what kind of gave you that impression, if so?
Well, I can remember the first time I talked to Mike. My wife was in the hospital giving birth to our third kid, and I'm out in the parking deck talking to Mike on the phone about going to drive for GMS. So I don't know if she appreciated that, but needless to say, we spent about 45 minutes on the phone, and Mike's a racer. And at the end of the day, I might not be anything, but I consider myself a racer. I love to race. Even when I'm not at the racetrack, I'm trying to race somewhere. So having said that, got on a plane, flew to Las Vegas. The Gallagher family took me to their house, sat me down, and Spencer picked me up at the airport and had the radio on as loud as it could go. And I said, we need to turn that down a little bit. But you remember that? But, we just talked about it and ultimately what their goals were and where they wanted to be as an organization. And I just felt very comfortable about it, to be honest with you. Just felt comfortable with it. I knew the goals, the aspirations, obviously building chassis in-house, hanging bodies in-house. That's a pretty big step or a pretty big deal in the truck series as far as I can tell. So just felt comfortable. I'll get back in a Chevrolet. Obviously ECR horsepower was exciting to me. The Ganassi pit crew guys, just everything that we talked about made sense to me. And I was like, this is something that I wanted to be a part of. And I'm just proud that they brought me in and let me come in here and do our deal. We're racing for a championship. We've won a couple races, so we want to win more. So having said all that, just very comfortable with the situation. I'm not getting any younger, and I want to win races and win a championship.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Johnny, obviously drivers never forget, and so it may have even been the last time you raced against Chase. It was a super late model race and the contact. And I'm just curious how much in the folder that you had on him that was in your mind in the last few laps, and I know obviously you're probably trying to do everything you can, but was that in your mind knowing what he's done in the past, what he might do, even though you're racing for a championship, he's an interloper? How did that kind of play in it, and how he reacted this time, does that change a little bit of the book in your mind?
Well, I'd much rather have it end the way that it ended today than it did a couple years ago in that late model race. We were just both racing hard a couple years ago down in Georgia, and to be honest with you, he had a little better car than I did, and it was down to, like, I don't remember, 8 laps to go or whatever, and I was doing all I could to try to hold him up. So, he just got in the corner hot and ran into us a little bit, and I spun out. So, at the time I was mad, but, the roles reversed today, obviously. I feel like he probably could have made contact, but he would have had to be very aggressive to do that because I focused really hard on carrying good roll speed through the center of the corner and getting good drive up off the corner. So, I didn't really worry about it. I mean, obviously we all know Chase's history. He takes care of his stuff. He's usually very smooth and obviously he's a good driver. He wouldn't be in a cup car. So, in the back of my mind, did I think he could be aggressive towards the end? I'd hope not, because we would have had a heck of a battle to the finish. But I think bigger picture, I think he, knew what it meant to Chevrolet to obviously get this truck in the chase. And I think he would have just had to make a very aggressive move and probably didn't want to go down that road.
Okay, we'll go to Chris and then Stan.
Chris Knight, catchfence.com. Congratulations to you guys. Johnny, it seemed like a relatively calm race today. I mean, it really long span of green flag racing, and it just seemed like everybody was minding their P's and Q's. Was that surprising here today? And then I have a follow-up.
Oh, it's very surprising. When you discuss pre-race strategy, we talk about track position, especially within 50 laps to go to the end, because it usually turns into somewhat of a destruction derby, so to speak, or at least it has a lot of times in the past. So track position is very important. I think today the cautions kind of fell about the time everybody was hoping to get tires. So it kind of eliminated a little bit of that strategy, so to speak. But I was impressed when they said there was only 50 laps to go. I was like, man, we've ran 150 laps already. So I was glad to see everybody taking care of their stuff, and it was just. The race actually played out pretty good. I mean, as far as, like I said, the sequences of pit stops and the little bit of brake fade that I had, it played out perfect for us to just be able to ride for about 100 laps.
And you won Daytona, so you became the first driver eligible to compete in the chase for the championship in the Truck Series. Now you've won today, and you'll be the first driver that takes GMS Racing into the Final Four. Does that mean anything?
Yeah, I mean, it means the world to me. Let's just be... Yeah, see, I mean, it means a lot to everybody up here, and that's ultimately why we tried to make all this happen. And I think a lot of people ask me, did you really want to do this? And I mean, if anybody's been to GMS Racing in Statesville, North Carolina, I invite you to go take a tour of what they've got going on there, just the shops and the people, the personnel, the equipment, everything that they're doing. And this is going to be a powerhouse organization. So, having said that, you still got to put it all together and execute, and we did that today.
And their union with Joe Shear, has that paid off big time?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've known Joe since I was 3 years old. So our dads raced against each other up in Wisconsin, and his dad started winning a lot when my dad moved south and was done racing up there. So anybody get that? But so I've known Joe my whole life. We've had a lot of success together. Obviously in ASA when we won the championship, we've won 9 or 10 truck races together now and won Xfinity races together. So, we probably haven't hit the ground running like we wanted to, but I feel like, we're where we need to be. And we've discussed a lot of setups and a lot of things that I think are going to be better for us down the road here.
Go ahead, Stan.
Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. This is for Mike Beam. Mike, being involved in a championship is not anything new for you, but compare the challenges of being in the championship chase now versus previous occasions.
Well, the thing about this chase and in the Final Four and stuff, it's just so exciting because you're going to go, that your company gets to experience that, and before it was like. Now the pressure's off a little bit. Now you got to do that one race where before, now it was like you was digging right now and and you're dreading tomorrow and you had 500 laps tomorrow and and it's like back then it was going to Rockingham and Wilkesboro and all that stuff, but it's just not as the week or two right there when we get ready to go to Homestead it'll be. But before it's like it was continuous, and but I don't know whether I've just got older and tired. That's probably a lot of it. But I mean, I still like to do it. I mean, I'm just not smart enough to do anything else. But I am so excited that we get to go do this for me and Maury and Johnny and Joe and Ron and everyone in GMS. I mean, it's just so much fun to get to go try to be the very best, and that's what we try to do.
Any final questions? Okay, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Congratulations and good luck at Texas.